Would you spend $20 to save $1,000 or $10,000? Let me tell you a recent incident that happened in just the last few days, and I want you to understand the principles of service recovery and how a small business, who I had been doing business with for, I'm sure for the last 5 years, spending $1,000 a year, made a major screw up. And unfortunately, it's not just the employees, it's the owner. I think they have maybe 5 employees, so it's not a very large organization. My experience is that small firms tend to be the greatest offenders of customer service. And that's why large companies do so much better. That's why they grow so much more rapidly. So, you know, the perception as a small company is more adverse, and they're more, you know, flexible, and they can take better care of a customer. But in reality, most small business owners are like Kelly at Cartridge World, where I'm going to talk about. Her goal was to save the $20 in ink. So I had been buying ink cartridges, refills, for the last 5 years, spending at least $1,000 a year for myself personally and for my company. And recently I've had some problems where some of the refills were not working. My wife took 2 cartridges over there. They said they couldn't replace them, didn't have them. She left them there, nothing happened. And then I had a printer, and the cartridges that were like $111 each were not working. And my staff took them over there, and she says they were too old, weren't going to do anything. They had been opened up. Bottom, and I called the owner, and I've been out of the country, and I said, you know, this thing has got to be resolved, or I'm not going to do any more business. And she basically said, I really don't care. And so I said, I tell you what, you know, it's obvious to me the cartridges are far more valuable to you than to me. So you are never, ever going to see me or my company again at your place of business. She said, fine. This is the owner. Okay. Now, to refill these cartridges probably is $20. It's just ink. It's just ink. Okay. I mean, I know that this little firm is struggling. Okay. But I have a feeling it's the owner that is probably just doesn't understand the customer experience and the problem. So what she should have said, and I have a program called Loyal for Life that teaches employees the art of service recovery, and I have a book called Loyal for Life, which is on service recovery. There's 4 principles that I teach, and this is what Kelly at Cartridge World in Bloomington, Minnesota should have done, because she's, you know what, I'm going to walk away from the money, the cartridges that are defective, because it's far more important to her than to me, but she will never in her lifetime or at any Cartridge World see me at any other places. There are other vendors that do ink refills other than Cartridge World and Kelly's little business. So the 4 steps are, number 1, take responsibility. It's all she had to say is, obviously, it's our fault. It's a problem. Number 2, she has to act immediately. We're going to solve the problem, Mr. Tschohl, right now to your satisfaction. Third is she has to be empowered. The employees have to be empowered. This is the owner that's not even empowered. She is the typical small business owner that's trying to hang on to every dear penny she's got, and she is going to go out of business, okay? I guarantee she will be out of business. So, and then the 4th step is you got to compensate. When you screw up, her product was defective. Remember, the customer is always right. She should have said, Mr. Tschohl, we're going to replace all of your ink cartridges because it's our fault. In addition to that, I'm going to give you a complimentary ink cartridge for each one that you brought in that was defective because it's our mistake. Had she done that, she would continue to get $1,000 a year. We're talking $20, $40, you know, we're not talking lots of money here. Okay? So service recovery is very important. Every company needs to master service recovery. And in this country, in the world, there's maybe only a few companies that really understand service recovery. Amazon's the best. If you want a great restaurant, Outback Steak is unbelievable at service recovery. Companies like HP, Dell, Federal Express, they don't even know how to spell the 2-word service recovery. So if you want to, so we spend so much money marketing. What we got to do is learn how to keep our customers, because all of us during the day screw up. bad things happen, whether we like it or not. So again, let me review the 4 principles that I teach. Number 1, act quickly, take responsibility, be empowered, and compensate. It's all got to happen in 60 seconds. I don't care if it's on the internet, on the phone, or in person. And if every person on your staff does that, that's how you keep customers, and that's how you take a customer from hell to heaven in 60 seconds or less. Now, let me tell you another little story, and this is about a fallen service leader, the death of Dell. Michael Dell built a company, started with $1,000, and built this gigantic billion-dollar company based on speed, price, incredible customer service, great products, innovation, and then he retired. You know, he was like 38 years old, one of the wealthiest men in the world, and he selected Kevin Rollins to be the new CEO. And Kevin's was a financial guy, a numbers guy. And the first thing a numbers guy does, he says, let's eliminate customer service. So what they did is they took their call centers and they moved them to India. Now, I happen to believe that anybody that has a call center in India is on a suicide watch. Because what you're going to do is you're going to experience hell every day of the week, okay? Because in India, they can't think. They come out of a caste system. They can't make decisions. The only thing they have the ability to say is one word: no, okay? Well, if you're going to a call center, you got a problem. You got something that needs to be done. So it was really interesting. If you look at the numbers in my newsletter where I talk about the value of the stock of Michael Dell when he retired, and then when Kevin Rollins took over, the value of the stock basically was cut in half. Michael Dell came back to save the company, but once you lose your brand built around the customer experience, it's very, very difficult to recover it. So I just got, in this last week, in the mail, a payment from my stock account where I got about $457 for the $1,000 I had invested in Dell in May of 2013. So I had roughly a 55% discount after 10 years, okay? Because he took the company private because it wasn't doing well. So here's the point I want to communicate. Once you lose your brand, once you take your eye off the ball of customer service, it's very difficult to recover. We're talking billions of dollars. So my research shows that if you can build a brand built around the customer experience, you can increase the value of an organization by over 25%. So if you look at the data I have on Amazon with the stock, the $1,000 is worth over $11,000. Take a look at the stock on Costco, at the different service leaders I have here. And then the worst 2 performers are Dell, you know, because, you know, they forgot about the customer experience. I mean, it was the kiss of death, okay? It was the interesting thing at Dell, customer service was the backbone of the company. But, you know, the financial people take over. You know, how do we really measure this customer service? Let's eliminate it. Well, that was the death of Dell. The other company is JetBlue. And, you know, they had a huge ice storm, and passengers were stuck on the plane for 10 hours. And this was a company that was growing very fast. It had this incredible image. And David Nelman, the CEO, didn't understand the words service recovery. There was no service recovery. It took over a day, and this is over a Valentine's Day weekend, and people missed their cruises, they missed all their flights because they were stuck on this plane. And the result is that the value of the company was reduced in value by 2/3. Lufthansa bought 19% of the company for a little over $7 a share. It's worth a few pennies more than when they bought it, you know, many years ago, okay? The value of the stock is less than 50% of what it was in May of 2003. David Nelman was fired as a result of the disaster that happened. Now, JetBlue is, you know, talks about its customer experience today and is really focusing on a great customer experience, but it didn't understand service recovery. What was the cost? The cost was billions of dollars. See, when we're talking about service recovery, little Kelly at Cartridge World, you know, she'll eventually go out of business. That's a little bitty company. But look at a Dell and look at a JetBlue. We're talking billions and billions of dollars when you don't understand the service strategy. So I hope you enjoy reading the newsletter. These are valuable concepts. My goal is to help you understand the power of the service strategy. I think if we can understand financially how this stuff impacts the growth of our company, the bottom line, we will all be more successful. Thank you so very much.